views and opinions expressed in this program are those of the participants and do not necessarily reflect the views of BronxNet or the program underwriters.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to OpenBxRx Remote, brought to you from my living workspace, Chari Executive Suite. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche every Friday. Here's what's coming up in today's show. Leading things off, we'll speak to the Senior Director of Artistic Programming at Lincoln Center, Jordana Leigh, as she discusses the new spring programming coming to Lincoln Center. Then we'll speak to Artistic Director and CEO of Ballet Hispánico, Eduardo Vilaro, as he discusses Ballet Hispánico's 50th anniversary and the premiere of their new production, Doña Perón. After that, we'll be joined by members of Los Chicos del 512 as they bring the magic of Selena to Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. Later on in the show, Bobby C brings an up-to-date with the latest headlines in the world of sports. And lastly, this week's Open Artist Spotlight shines on alternative folk group Talisk with a performance at the end of the show. So sit back y prepárate. All this and more is headed your way because now we are officially open. Hey everyone, welcome to Open. I'm Rhina Valentin, your host of Café con Leche for the next hour, inviting you to get social with us online. That is, tweet us and follow us on Instagram at BronxNet TV and like us on Facebook at OpenBxRx Television. And of course, while you're there, follow moi on Twitter, FB, Instagram, Insta Stories, and LinkedIn at Rhina Valentin. Our first guest is the Senior Director of Artistic Programming at Lincoln Center, which recently announced an expansive roster of free spring performances, discussions, and civic activities set to animate the reopening of the David Rubenstein Atrium, the return of the American Songbook Series, Passport to the Arts, and Lincoln Center Moments, where people with disabilities and their families can engage, and also Lincoln Center Activate, offering free virtual professional development for artists and educators, all made more accessible with their free or choose what you pay ticketing model. And here now to tell us more, we welcome the Senior Director of Artistic Programming of Lincoln Center, Jordana Leigh. Hi, Jordana.
Hi, Rhina. It is so good to be back here and to be chatting with you. And thank you so much for taking the time to learn more about what's happening at Lincoln Center.
Oh, it's always so exciting. I gotta say, these innovative programs I'm happy to bring it to our audience because I'm excited that we can all be together.
Yes. It is such a blessing. It has been almost exactly 2 years to the date when we shut down and didn't know when we would actually get people back together. And then we were so blessed this past summer that we could do outdoor programming, but we've been still trying to figure out when can we actually get indoors, open up the atrium, bring Songbook back, bring in all these programs that we've cherished for so long and re-engage our community and actually start to have audiences and performers and that energy back together. It's super exciting. I'm so thrilled.
I know, and you already kicked it off with the David Rubenstein Atrium. Let's talk a little bit about the different programming, because I mentioned a lot, and I want our audience to have a clearer understanding of what that really looks like.
So the David Rubenstein Atrium is actually a public space, and we not only are doing free programming about 4 nights a week, but you actually can just come and relax and enjoy the atrium throughout the day. Don't need a ticket, don't need anything of that sort. I do believe at this moment we're still requiring vaccinations, but it is a place for everyone to come in and enjoy and just relax and a little bit of an oasis from the craziness of the city. But what has been always wonderful, and I think the crown jewel of what the Atrium is the free programming. And before the pandemic, we did a programming about once a week, and we have ramped up our programming. We are doing about 4 to 5 nights a week. Started 2 weeks ago, and we are going strong. And I'm happy to report that audiences are back. Sometimes we have lines out the door. People are super excited. I can give you a little guide to what might be interesting to come to the Atrium. We're thinking that really on Wednesdays, those are talks. Those are places that we can actually get involved, talk to artists, learn about maybe something that's a civic engagement element that we need, that's really important to our community right now. So it's some things that are like more about maybe an artistic process, or maybe it's really about what do we as a community need to talk about and explore. Thursdays are more concerts. And the concerts range really strongly in variety. So we have already had a performance by an Afro-Caribbean. Yep, we had a group from they were on Saturday. They were on Saturday. We love them though. We love them. You jumped the gun. You got me first. We had Ladama. That's actually Saturdays is our family programming. And so we had artists like Ladama come. That was actually the last Saturday. And they really celebrated, and they got everyone up and dancing and enjoying. But so Thursdays are more traditional concerts at 7:30. Fridays are dance parties. So we are doing things from once a month. We're having programs. We brought back our VIA program, which really celebrates live music that is both looking at the founders as well as the torchbearers of New York's Latin music scene. So you're getting a lot of charanga, a lot of salsa, some bachata, some merengue. Dance floor is open. People have been filling up the dance floor. It's been wonderful. Those are Fridays. Also on Fridays, because we can't do that every Friday, even though maybe I'd like to. We are doing dance parties. So we have a night with the Korean Cultural Center, and we're doing K-pop parties. So we've been having a DJ come in, and then actually have a couple of folks coming in and demonstrating some moves that go along with K-pop, and then turning it over to everyone else to dance. And we've been working with the Hip Hop Museum as well as Works in Process for another night that really celebrates, hip hop music and the multiple, facets of hip hop music. And again, we are working with Works in Process, which is a great organization. Usually they're presenting at the Guggenheim, but they've been coming to us, and it's a great featuring different local dancers. And they will come in, and they actually do about like a 20-30 minute performance, and then they turn the dance floor over to you to then cut a rug there.
Oh my gosh, this sounds so exciting. I'm so excited just listening to you because, again, just being in a space where music is playing, where people are dancing, where that energy is being exchanged in person. So can you name some of the Latin bands you have coming up on Fridays?
Well, so tonight on April 1st, we have Aurora Flores coming. And so I ask you please to come out and check her out. We love Aurora. She's performed with us in the past. She's one of the few women actually that's a band leader. And really, she's been doing it for forever. And we love her. And so that would be a great one to come out to.
We love her too. Aurora is on barrio.
Yes, she's fabulous. And I got a little distracted, but we do have almost every Saturday, we have family programming as well. So there's so much for everyone to come and enjoy the Atrium.
I know, and I jumped the gun and threw in La Dama because I was so enthralled by them and even what they stand for. So just give us a little background on what people can expect in the family programming, because it is different hours too, isn't it? Early in the day.
It is. It's at 11 o'clock. Now, at this moment, and now, everything keeps on changing, but it's really for an audience of 5 and above, because there is a vaccine mandate right now for coming into performances. We're trying to figure out when that changes and when we can get those younger ones in as well. But the programming is incredibly diverse, and it's interactive. So people come, it's about 45 minutes. So it's the perfect time for a family with young people. there's a little bit of, the traditional performance, but then we always kind of get the kids up and moving. And it's music that I think actually appeals to both adults and children versus just, catering to a very, one generation.
Right. And I keep bringing up La Dama because I know that they also have somebody in the band that works with special needs individuals. And so I also know you're offering a disability programs, and I know it's not necessarily for special needs, but I would like to discuss that as well so that our viewers are aware that that's accessible to them too.
Yeah, absolutely. And thank you. We have made a huge commitment to making sure that Lincoln Center is incredibly accessible. So not only do we have programs, but when you come to the atrium, we've really made a commitment to make sure that everyone feels completely welcome and supported. So if you need ALDs, like assistant listening devices, we have those for you. A lot of our talks are now having sign language as well. So American Sign Language translators are present at the atrium. We have a little space that we're setting up so that if you have sensory issues and you need a place to kind of step away and have a moment from maybe being overwhelmed by the intensity of live music again, we've created that kind of sanctuary as well. So we're really looking about how to make Lincoln Center accessible. On that, we do have programs that are designed to really embrace all of our community. One of them is the Passports program, which is really looking at multiple generations, but mostly for younger people who have more cognitive, sensory, different abilities. And so that is something that maybe it's a more, the way that it's designed is that it's a smaller audience. It is maybe the lights are not as dark, so it's more familiar feeling. And those programs we did them before, and now we're thrilled to bring those back. And then the other that we have is Moments. And Moments, Lincoln Center Moments, is really for an older generation that maybe is dealing with some cognitive maybe memory loss or things of that sort, and their caregivers. And so in that, we have a performer come in, it's usually somebody who sings something that is maybe familiar to a different, of that generation's, popular music. And then there's usually an activity as well that helps stimulate the mind and helps people get engaged. And we've had amazing feedback and connections. And we've actually seen people who were very, very removed, actually, after hearing the music and having a chance to find a way to express themselves, became more engaged. So we've actually, seen those touches right away. It's been pretty special. And so those are coming back again. They're going to be in person. We are thinking, of virtual ways as well. But I think, we're really hoping as much as possible that we can make it happen in person.
So in essence, what we just discussed is really a lot of hybrid programming, but most of it is in person. And all I got to say to you is brava, señor directora. Wow, that was lovely. And I hope you guys are intrigued. I know I am. And for more information on Lincoln Center's spring programming, you can visit lincolncenter.org. And of course, you can follow them on social media at Lincoln Center. We have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll discuss Ballet Hispánico's new performance that is an explosive portrait of one of the most recognizable and controversial women in Argentinian history. Don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, welcome back. Ballet Hispánico is celebrating 50 years of dance and inclusion with their new production, Doña Perón, a full-length presentation about Eva Evita Perón, one of the most recognizable and controversial women in Argentinian history, who rose from the ranks of a dancehall performer to Argentina's first lady. Let's take a sneak peek of Doña Perón. Here to share more on the production, Doña Perón and Ballet Hispánico, a dance company celebrating 50 years of bringing communities together to celebrate and explore Latinx cultures through innovative dance production. Please welcome Artistic Director and CEO of Ballet Hispánico, Eduardo Vilaro. Hola.
Hola, 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 Rhina. Always a pleasure to be here with you.
Oh my gosh, thank you for making the time, because I know you guys are in the trenches and preparing for your opening night. This is amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you, thank you. It's a very exciting production. And actually, we've been on the road with it. We've been doing previews in New Orleans, Chicago, and Detroit. So not only are we starting to get ready for City Center, we're exhausted doing so. That's a lot, right?
Right. No, I wasn't unaware that you were already touring it, but I do know that I've been watching you guys prepare for your City Center production. And I gotta say, this is like a big deal, especially coming out of the pandemic. I mean, you really went all out.
Well, you know, part of it is that we wanted to make sure that everyone understood that we're back. Dance is back, the arts are back. And a Latinx dance organization is certainly back. We're not waiting for anybody because we know that representation matters. And that's why this piece is so wonderful. This is a work by a Latina for a Latina. And it is really about reawakening this call that happened during the social justice movement, which is still happening, not during, still happening.
Right.
Different narratives. Well, that's what Ballet Hispánico is here for. We reclaim our stories. We don't need another Andrew Lloyd Webber, though he's wonderful. We don't need another white man telling our stories.
You know what I love about the way you choose your productions and the way you choose to tell stories is that it's fused, but more so than anything is that you also dive into the intersectionality within the Latinx community. And I think that's the conversation that we need to be having more of.
Yeah, I'm so with you. I'm all about the intersectionality of our Latin community, which sometimes, you know, we tend to just ignore and put it on the side, you know, but that's been what has happened throughout the centuries, and we've got to stop that. And so we are not afraid of going out and showing that, demonstrating the fullness of what that means in intersectionality with our Afro-Latinidad, with our Asian Latinidad, with our Indigenous Latinidad. There's so much there. And so when we mount something together, we are intentional about doing that and thinking about that.
And so speaking of intentionality, you know, I noticed that the lead dancer is an Afro-Latina, while Evita Perón is Argentinian, and you have Annabelle Lopez Ochoa actually choreographing this whole big production. And I understand it's her first evening length work. And so there's intentionality right there. Latina story, Latina lead, Latina choreographer, and then there's the reality that we are basically telling a story in a dance form that I think we've all been conditioned to see in a play.
Right,
form.
right. And so that is such a beautiful way of putting it. It is a new language to look at this story and this narrative. And it is a powerful language because it's a corporal language. So you need to sit through images more. You know, there is no, I'm assuming things, because language can make us assume a lot. So this language is really about that power of the inner voice. And I love how you frame that with an Afro-Latina as the lead. It's not because she's Afro-Latina, it's because she's fierce and she was the role. If we're going to continue to say that art is for everyone, then everyone could be on the stage. I mean, it's que paren con ese nonsense, right? Because quite frankly, I have been questioned about that from an audience member. And I'm like, why is the question even still being given? Don't give me that question. I'm not going to answer it because it's silly. It's an artist doing the work. But I think underneath the layer, what I love about it is that this story is really about women and the perseverance of women in a machoistic or a male-dominated world. and how she had to use her charm and wit. And yes, maybe it was she climbed up the ladder by being with this gentleman and then that one and then this one. But that's what women had at that time. Let's not negate it. Let's talk about it, right? It's a different world now. We're not celebrating it. We're just saying this is what happened. But she turned out to be an icon and one of the most powerful politicians. She made Juan Perón who he was, which frightened him and delighted the populace. And as you say, it's so interesting about she was a controversial figure. Funny, what would have happened if she was a man?
Right.
At that time,
Right.
Coming up from poverty, coming up
Right.
from that, you know, that wouldn't be in question.
Right. 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 Right.
So I think that the layers of a production like this for an organization like ours gives us the opportunity to start having these kinds of conversations and to start having people ask those questions. So I'm very excited, and then it's just a beautiful production. It is stunning.
It looks stunning. It looks stunning. And while I haven't seen it in the actual theater, just by what's been presented with, you know, your costume designer creating like over 80 costumes and having a composer, and it looks magnificent. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, you know, the beautiful thing about the costume design is that she was, you know, so enamored of haute couture. Everything was, I mean, she wore Chanel, and I mean, she really dressed. That gave her a sense of belonging. And even what you'll see in this work, that even she was beautifully dressed, her imposter syndrome was real, which is real for all of us, for all marginalized people. You get to power, and you'll see how the choreographer manages that. It's very interesting, because that's a real thing that we face when we gain power.
Yeah, and I think the reality of it in whatever artistic form, to present us with just the opportunity to really address that about ourselves. I mean, I think in this particular time, there's been a lot of reflecting going on. So to be able to see it in a performance and in a story that we've all heard of and or have seen in other renditions, to see it in this form that could almost be considered abstract, right? Because it's the body communicating.
That's right. That's right.
Right?
It's the body communicating. And there is an abstraction because you've removed the verbal language that we all know, but then it opens up so much more possibility, because you're dealing, just like you see a piece of artwork or visual arts, you're dealing with shape, form, color, and all of that melds together. And it's, you know, it's why I love dance. It is my own language.
I know it's your language, and you do it so well. And really, you represent us so well. And this whole production, it's so exciting. And I'm so excited for you to really come out with the bang, even though you've been touring with it. I mean, at least here in New York, because in New York is going to be presented at New York City Center. And so you're going to be running 2 nights, right? 3 nights, excuse me, right? First to the third. And, and so what do you really want people to leave with in executing this on such a big scale?
I want them to leave with the possibility of a Latino arts organization being able to do something as bold and excellent as this. That we are not removed only to the, ay, que lindo, look at the little Lat dance company. That we are not only thought of as you need to do these cultural things. What this work does, it's like it's such on a big scale that like a huge ballet company would do. That's what we are. That is our voice. That's who we are. We are one of America's cultural treasures, and we deserve the kind of platform like being at City Center that all other ballet companies deserve.
Yeah, I know. I've certainly enjoyed you at the Joyce, so I know. I've experienced it firsthand, and the fact that you are also telling our stories, I think, also should be celebrated as well.
Thank you.
No, thank you. Thank you, Eduardo Vilaro. Thank you for making the time. Once again, artistic director and CEO of Ballet Hispánico, and they are presenting Doña Perón, which premieres tonight, April 1st, and it's running through April 3rd. That's happening at the New York City Center, located at 131 West 55th Street in Manhattan. And for more information, you can visit ballethispanico.org and on social media at Ballet Hispánico. We do have to take a quick break, but when we return, we'll hear about the timeless magic, of Selena coming to Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. You don't want to miss. Don't go anywhere. Hey everyone, welcome back. Lehman Center for the Performing Arts is celebrating one of the most celebrated Mexican-American entertainers of the 20th century, Selena Quintanilla. Let's take a look at what's in store. That was a taste of what our next guest will be presenting at Lehman Center for the Performing Arts. They are members of Los Chicos del 512, who came together for one reason: to bring the magic of Selena to old and new fans. Having sold out venue after venue, and with recent performances for the Chicago Bulls and the Marines in Okinawa, Japan, Los Chicos del 512 have become one of the most sought after tribute acts in North America. Here to tell us more is lead singer Kayla Martinez and keyboard and music director Ricardo Ricky Madrid. Hello and welcome.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
And so both of you are joining us desde Arizona, right?
Yes, I'm in San Luis and Ricardo is in Somerton. So we're 15 minutes away.
Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. You're 15 minutes away from each other. You're a couple of hours behind us. So thank you for joining us. So I want to start with you, Ricardo, because you are the music director, and this tribute that you do to Selena has been very successful. So let's just talk a little bit about the group, how many people are involved, and when did you guys actually form this group?
Thank you, Rhina. Thank you for having us. It's been approximately 6 years, more or less. We have it's 8 of us in total. Kayla, the only girl in the band, and it's she has to deal with 7 guys and our different different personalities, but it's an awesome group, very professional guys, and even better as people.
It's a good thing she's a counselor on the other side, right?
Right.
But just because he opened the floor, Kayla, I mean, what has that been like for you, serving and portraying this icon?
It's been an amazing experience just to be surrounded by amazing musicians. But I think being able to, it's such an honor for me to be able to sing Selena's songs and just be able to borrow her fans for just that night, or a couple nights, because sometimes we do different shows for a weekend. But it's just been, there's no words to describe how beautiful it is. We see little girls dressed up as Selena, and that's what we're all about, the continuing to keep her memory alive. So it's very special.
I would imagine so. I mean, we just saw the clip, and it just looks like so vibrant and actually filled with a lot of love, right? And so I just out of curiosity, do you mind if I call you Ricky? Because you're Ricardo, Ricky. Yeah, I can call you Ricky.
That's fine.
Oh, you want me to call you Ricardo?
No. You can call me Ricky. You can call me anything you want.
There. I'm like, Ricky, Ricardo.
No, you're fine.
Okay, great. So what made you like decide to really stick to this particular program?
Well,
Like, what did you see the need for, right? Because there's a need for it,
you know,
right?
exactly what Kayla said. You know, Selena passed away, you know, a little over 25 years ago, and
I can't
very,
believe it's 25 years already.
yeah, it's been that many years, but the reality is that almost an entire generation didn't get to see Selena, you know, in a live concert. The new generations, you know, we have YouTube, we have, you know, social media, we have, you know, websites, and you name it. But
And even the Netflix series, right?
the Netflix series, you know, Jennifer Lopez movie, you name it. But that's it. You know, they never got to see Selena. Even some of us in the band never got to see Selena, you know, live. So that's where the idea came from. You know, you just to bring a Selena, you know, what would have been a Selena concert nowadays. And we started out by recreating Selena's last concert at the Astrodome, but we've gone way beyond that. Now it's a 2.5 hour show, and we play almost every single hit, you know, Selena has now.
And so when you're out there, and forgive me, Kayla, because you know I think you do a wonderful rendition in honoring her. But do you ever get that you're not her? You know, like are people just do they just embrace you as her? You know, I know you're invoking her and everything, and you're portraying her and you're honoring her, but I'm just curious, like, does it feel a little awkward sometimes?
I just take it all in, like it's so special, like, but of course I know that she was one and only. There's never going to be one like her. So I do this with a lot of respect, and yeah, there's some fans that just recently, actually, we had a show, and there was a lady that came up to me and she told me, I never got to experience a Selena concert, and you brought that to us tonight. And she was almost like tearing up. So it's just a lot of emotion, and I'm very grateful just to be doing this and have my chicos, you know, with me, because we're a team. So we wouldn't be able to be doing this if we weren't together.
That's lovely. And so in essence, what you're saying is that people are embrace it more than, you know, people are funny. You know what I mean? It's like, it's I just wonder if you ever went through that, but you're not even gonna tap into that. So we're just gonna move on from it. And so what should people expect coming and experiencing it at Lehman Center for the Performing Arts?
Well, exactly what Kayla said. It's an almost a 2 hour show, 2.5 sometimes, and the shows brings those emotions, not just the songs, but you know, you'll be dancing pretty much all night long. You'll be crying. You know, you'll remember, you know, all those moments when you were a kid. You know, when you saw Selena. You know, that now that you're older, those songs that you can relate to. And there's some other surprises within the show as well, but one thing for sure is that it'll be a fantastic night, and it's a night that you'll remember. So that's what we bring. That's what we call this, the Selena experience, you know, and we're just inviting everybody to come out and live this, you know, experience. I mean, it'll be the first time we're in New York, and you know, who knows when we'll ever be back. We hope soon, but that's what makes it even a little more excited. We're actually taking a couple of days off before the performance to go and just walk around New York and visit some of those sites. And you know, who doesn't want to go visit New York?
Yeah, that's wonderful. I'm excited for you guys. All right, so I'm going to put you on the spot, Kayla. Can you sing us out como la flor? Just that one note for me, please.
Okay. Como la flor, con tanto amor, me diste tú. Un pedacito, just a little.
Come on, that was a little teaser. That was for you guys. Oh my gosh, Kayla Martinez, Ricardo, Ricky Madrid, Los Chicos del 512. You guys, they're going to be performing and presenting a tribute to Selena and Y Los Dinos. And that's happening on Saturday, April 9th, 8 p.m. at the Lehman Center for the Performing Arts, which is located at 250 Bedford Park Boulevard in the Bronx. And if you're interested in tickets, be sure to visit lehmancenter.org. All right, stay tuned. Bobby C's Weekly Sports Roundup is coming up next.
Chilling on my couch, ready to bring you the best from the world of sports. We begin with an elated Kyrie Irving out in Brooklyn following the mayor's lift of the vaccine mandate for pro athletes and entertainers here in New York City. The move paves the way for Big Apple baseball stars to play on opening day and the Nets point guard to get his first home start since the COVID-19 pandemic. Irving was the first star here in New York to make headlines for not being vaccinated.
Man, first I was trying to get enough sleep last night, landing at 3 a.m. and then just not going to bed till 6. So I was just trying to ground myself as much as possible today and just prepare for the warm reception from a lot of supporters of the organization, of me, just the journey thus far. So I don't take it for granted what happened tonight. It was historic. I'm grateful that I got a chance to be out there with my brothers and, just leave it all out there. Not the result we wanted. I didn't shoot as well as I wanted. Basically, none of the things I had hoped for going well tonight just didn't happen. And that's just the flow of basketball. And, mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually, I felt okay. But just the jump shot wasn't falling tonight and we weren't hitting shots. So not the result we wanted, but, definitely grateful that we were part of history tonight and I got to do it here.
It was great to see him out there. Good to see the fans excited for him. And unfortunately, we took the L, though, but we move forward knowing that we have him here and, build on what we have and try to get a win next game.
With Kyrie available pretty much everywhere except Canada, could be an issue if the team plays Toronto in the postseason. The Nets return to the conversation as serious NBA title contenders. Good enough to nab the 5th spot right here on the front end of 5-on-5. In the 4th spot, a 4-star performance for St. Peter's University men's basketball, the story of March Madness. The Peacocks reached the Elite 8 before falling to number 8 UNC. To give it some perspective, folks, 15-seeded St. Peter's would be the 5th largest high school in Section 1. Neighboring towns in Westchester County from the Bronx, New Rochelle, Mount Vernon, North Rockland, and Arlington are all bigger than St. Peter's. That's how small and remarkable the program's little engine that could story really was. They didn't want to be called Cinderella here in March Madness, but honestly, that's what they were. More on St. Peter's in my C list. In the 3 spot, the Bronx Player of the Week actually goes to a coach. Maybe we need a Bronx Coach of the Week segment. Jim Larinaga, who I mentioned on the show right here last week, is the first coach in the history of college basketball to take not one, but 2 programs who were double-digit seeds in the NCAA tournament, Miami and George Mason, to the Elite 8. The Miami Hurricanes lost to number 1 Kansas and, like St. Peter's, come up just short of the Final Four. Nonetheless, a remarkable job by this coach from the Bronx. Kudos to Larinaga and Miami. In the 2 spot, how about 2 dingers for Yankee star Aaron Judge in spring training action? Yankee GM Brian Cashman confirmed an extension for the Judge. Aaron has looked plenty mighty and healthy this spring. Hopefully it's a sign of more to come. In the 2 spot, we'll piggyback from 2 with a 1-2 punch for the New York Mets. The Amazons actually pitched both of their aces in spring training action Sunday, starting Jacob deGrom through the first 3 innings and finishing off a win with their new prize, Max Scherzer, for the final 6. The two combined to give up 3 runs over 9. Those two are going to be extremely tough at the top of the Mets rotation. To the back end of 5-on-5 we go for a look ahead. Our Final 4 in men's basketball is set. Number 1, Kansas against the Big East champs. Number 2, Villanova, Saturday night at 6:09 p.m. Then for the first time in March Madness history, imagine that, in Coach K's final season, number 2 Duke squares off against longtime rival number 8 North Carolina at 8:49 p.m. At 2 in MLS action, NYC FC heads to Toronto Saturday afternoon for a 4 p.m. start. At 3, the Knicks are still fighting for a playoff spot in the NBA. They host Cleveland Saturday at 1 p.m. at MSG. Then the Knicks are on the road in Orlando Sunday night at 6 p.m. At 4, the Rangers skate against the rival Islanders in another battle for New York tonight. Puck drop is 7 p.m. at the world's most famous arena. The Broadway Blue Shirts will then host rival Philadelphia Sunday night at 7 to close out the weekend's action. And at number 5, on this date in Bronx sports history, where does the time go, folks? Back in 2008, the final season for the old Yankee Stadium, then ace Chim-Ming Wang, remember him, leads the Bronx Bombers to an MLB record 11th straight opening day win. The Pinstripers defeated Toronto 3-2 on April 1st, 2008, the last home opener at the old ballpark in the Bronx. Our BronxNet cameras were there. Feels just like yesterday. Time flies when you're having fun, as they say. That's my cue to cap this segment with a C-list. Shaheen Holloway is heading home to coach Seton Hall, the same place where his star first shone brightly as a player. While that has been the news this week, it can't cast a shadow over what St. Peter's accomplished this March Madness, thanks in large part to his coaching prowess and several New York and New Jersey toughies, as I like to call them, young men like the Bronx's own Juju Murray, a star from Hoops in the Sun. By the end of it, St. Peter's gave us one of the greatest Cinderella runs ever. The first 15 seed to make the Elite Eight, a team that scored major upset wins over Kentucky and Purdue in March Madness. A team that ended Murray State's 21-game winning streak. More importantly, a team that not only obliterated brackets everywhere, the kind of storyline that makes this time of year so very great, but captured the hearts of Americans nationwide. I mentioned it earlier in this roundup, a small school that rolled up its sleeves and competed with Goliath. The program's budget of $7.5 million stared down 4 opponents with a combined athletic department budget of over $365 million. They beat all 3 of those teams on the biggest stage in college basketball. I would say that's the best unexpected run from an underdog since the 1980 USA Olympic ice hockey team. Cheers to St. Peter's. You won't be forgotten anytime soon. Monday on Open, we have a tremendous guest. Former Fordham great and current NFL phenom Chase Edmonds joins the show. Here's a special preview.
Now, I remember you, of course, as a freshman, you come in, you're 185 pounds. And as you mentioned, by way of Pennsylvania in 2014, that first year, though, I mean, you hit the ground running. You end up winning the Jerry Rice Award as the FCS Freshman of the Year. And it's not long that you go from 185 pounds to 210 pounds. So, I mean, the work ethic to me for you has always been unparalleled. Can you talk about that process and the fact that you always seem to have your eye on the NFL right away, even from that first year?
Funny story, man. Like, I tell people this all the time, and again, it molded me. But I remember going to Fordham and we were going to class, and like we played like this icebreaker game of like, what did you want to do after college? You know, we're at Fordham, so we got guys saying Wall Street, you know, people saying all these crazy things, and they got to me, and I said I wanted to be in the NFL. You know, I wanted to be an NFL football player, and I just remember like the smirks and like some of the, like, I could see out like my eye, like just like the looks and like the body language of people, like, you know, like, come on, bro, like you're at Fordham, like you're not going to the NFL, you're not going to the league. So that just always reminds me, man. Like, and I like stuff like that around Fordham. I just used, you know, as kind of like a chip on my shoulder, and it really was just such motivation to me, bro. To just every time I did something football related on that campus, you know, I was really doing it.
That's your sports. I'm Bobby C.
everyone, and welcome back to Open. Our last guests are the groundbreaking, chart-topping, genre-bending, globe-trotting Scottish trio, Talisk. Ranked highly amongst the most in-demand folk bass groups, their sound incorporates fused concertina, guitar, and fiddle to produce a groundbreaking multi-layered signature that has captivated audiences around the globe. Talisk has toured the world, stacking up major awards for their explosively energetic, artfully woven sound, including Folk Band of the Year at the BBC Alba Scots Trad Music Awards and BBC Radio 2 Folk Award, and the Belhaven Bursary for Innovation. Now, following their critically acclaimed debut, Abyss, Talisk's sophomore album, Beyond, quickly gained 5-star reviews and rose to #1 in the iTunes World Music Charts. With the release of their new album, Dawn, audiences worldwide are once again immersed with another infectious and endearing chapter from this alternative folk group. And here now, hailing from Glasgow, Scotland, is concertina player Mohsin Amini from Talisk.
How are you getting on? I think you nailed it.
Thank you. Thanks, Mohsin. And thank you for being here with us. I know you guys are already touring, and I needed to make sure that our audience recognizes that you're actually communicating with us via Scotland, and that again, as we were speaking prior to getting on air, is the silver lining behind the pandemic. I mean, how beautiful is that we're able to connect, and you're in Scotland, and we're able to bring you to our viewers in the Bronx and abroad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. It's pretty good. It makes the world a little bit smaller and a little bit more friendly, which is great.
Oh gosh. And so where are the rest of the guys?
The rest of the guys are, so I think Graham is back with his son, because he had a son through lockdown, so he's tending to that, and Benny is probably away practicing his fiddle, getting ready for the next tour.
Right. So because you guys already started touring, so what's that been like for you? Let's talk about what COVID did to now being back on tour and already selling out the tours for the year 2022.
Yeah, I mean, it's been great. I mean, all COVID did was put a big, massive stint in it. Do you know what I mean? I wouldn't say it was great to have the time off, but I did enjoy a lot of the time off. But after a while, it was time to get back out. And I kid you not, as soon as we got back out, everybody was so eager to go and have the best time of their life. Do you know what I mean? Everybody had been waiting for it for 2 years, so everyone brought their A game. All bands going out. We definitely pulled out all the stops and did our best show we possibly could, because we had quite a lot of time to think about what we wanted to do, which is great. So as soon as COVID finished, we were touring around festivals in England. We did a UK tour, a French tour, and then came over and did an American tour. So we've hit the ground running, and we're having a brilliant time, and it seems like all the crowds are enjoying it too. So if anything, it's just made the hunger for music even better.
That's good for you.
Sounds great.
I was looking at your Instagram page, and I noticed that you've got a lot of touring going on in May in the UK, and some of them are already selling out.
Yeah, it's amazing. Most of it's selling out. All the ones that have sold out just after we announced the tour, and then the ones that aren't sold out yet are not far off it. So I think it's probably going to be one of our best UK tours we've ever done, which is great. It was absolutely brilliant.
Well, we're happy to have you here and share you with our viewers in preparation for your US tour, right? When's that going to happen?
Oh, I think we're coming back out in November. So we should be out for the first 2 weeks of November. And we're also, it's not been announced yet, but we're coming back out in the summer as well to do a couple of festivals. So we're going to be seeing a lot of America this year, which is great.
Yeah, it is great. It's great to just bring your flavor over here and for us to indulge in the other side of the world and be able to find that our similarities within our differences. I know that listening to your music really allows me to feel like I'm in the mountains somewhere in an open,
Yeah.
meadow Yeah, yeah.
Celtic Mist in a bottle and we're selling it at the merch table.
Say that again. What happened?
I said we just bottle Celtic Mist and bring it over with us.
I love it. I love it. I love it. And to just that you guys also are using instruments that are folkloric, right? They're folklore as well, but you've modernized it in a way so that it's appealing to the next generation. And I find that admirable. I really do.
Yeah, well, we're just trying to do our thing. Do you know, everyone tries to put their stamp on it, so we're putting our stamp on it, and our stamp just happens to be folk music crossed with EDM music, and I love it.
Well, what's better than that? To do what you love, and not only that, represent your culture in the process.
Yeah, exactly. We had a thing on the tour as well because we're fully aware that we're over representing Scottish culture and bringing it around. But when you're in a place, you slowly start adapting to where you're at and speaking. We were speaking with using a lot of Americanisms when we were out. So we started at the start of the tour, we started a dollar jar, and whenever you said a word that was American that wasn't from Scotland, we had to put $1 in the jar because we're like, no, we're here to promote Scotland.
You're hilarious. That's funny.
I know, we lost a lot of money that time.
Well, it sounds to me like you guys are in preparation to come back.
Oh yes, got a lot of dollars in our pocket waiting for that jar.
And I know we just missed St. Patty's Day, but I saw that you guys were doing some celebrations and you partnered up with I think it was an Irish duet, right? An Irish duo.
Oh no, was it Melinda?
The one.
Oh, yeah, the Gardner brothers. The Gardner brothers. We did a few of them. We always do a few collabs. But yeah, the Gardner brothers are good friends of ours. And whenever St. Patrick's Day goes around, they always use somewhat of our music. So no, they're brilliant. They're great, and it's a great way to celebrate St. Patrick's Day. A bit of Irish dancing all around the world. No bad at all.
No, it was beautiful. It was beautiful, and I also love your fusion that you're doing with the other young ladies that I saw as well. I'm not familiar with them, but again, I just love you guys. I love you guys. When I come to New York, I really can.
Well, we'll come back as soon as we can.
Woo! All right. So anyway, for now, you guys, if you happen to be watching and you live in the UK and or if you're in Scotland, you can definitely check them out in person. However, they are available on iTunes. And this is Mohsin Amini, and don't go anywhere because when we return, Talisk, the entire group, they're going to perform for us after the break. Hey everyone, welcome back. Here now to perform is Talisk. New album Dawn on all streaming platforms. And for more information, visit taliskmusic.com, and you can check them out on social media at Talisk Music. That is our show today, mi gente. Thanks to all our guests for coming through, and to you, our viewers, for tuning in. If you missed any part of the show, you can check out the recablecast tonight, 24 hours a day at BronxNet.tv. I'm Rhina Valentin, and from all of us here at Open, may the universe provide paz, prosperity, y amor. Adios.